Okay, Nick, welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about a couple of things that you can do to build off of your strengths. And we're going to specifically focus on your lower half because I really think you do a lot of great things with your upper half. And if there's one thing that you could do to get better, it's to strengthen what you do with your lower half. And I just want to begin by showing you what Cabrera's lower half looks like before he swings. So he's got his knee lift here, then his front foot lands, right? And I want you to notice the width of his base. His feet are spread out. His knees are nice and balanced, bent. Great power. This is a very strong and powerful position that he's in. And this is so important because the legs are going to drive everything we do with the hands. If we get this nice foundation, we're going to be able to pull the knob of the bat through the zone and get the barrel of the bat working up the plane of the pitch a lot more effectively. So when we look on the left-hand side here with you, you're going to notice when your front foot lands, you're very shallow. Notice here how shallow your feet are compared to a guy like Cabrera. And I'm not saying you need to get as wide as he gets, but I'm just saying here, it's a lot more difficult to shift your weight when you're this shallow. And when I say shallow, I'm just talking about your feet not being as far apart. So I want to go into a couple of things that you can do to get this better foundation with your lower half, which is going to help you get your hands through the zone a lot quicker. Everything we do in athletics is driven by our feet and our legs and our hips. So keep that in mind. So the first thing I want to address is the negative move. I want you to notice when Miguel Cabrera lifts up his front knee, notice how the front knee comes in towards his belly button. He kind of pinches it in here. And this is a balance mechanism. What he does, this little knee pinch like that when he lifts up his knee so that everything's kind of directed towards his center of gravity, which is his belly button. It helps him stay balanced while in motion. Well, when you begin your knee lift, you pinch it a little bit, but I would argue that if you bring this in a little bit more towards your back knee, you're going to be a little bit more collected. You can see here everything's kind of spread out. And if you look at this position here versus Cabrera's, you're going to see a lot more control here. You have a little bit less control because of where this front leg is. So if we can collect that front leg on our knee lift and get it closer to our belly button, we're going to be more effective in getting our stride to the place that we want it to be. And then, of course, because we don't have that tight collection there in our negative move, you can see the difference in how Cabrera strides versus you. But this is also a timing thing too. Cabrera is able to get this nice good stride because of the way he syncs himself up with the pitcher. And that's the next part of this video that I want to address. So we're going to look at Miguel Cabrera first, and I'm going to show you what he does to sync up his movements with this pitcher. And then we're going to look at how you sync yourself up with the pitcher and talk about how you can improve it. So we're looking at Miguel Cabrera here in the All-Star game several years back. Right now he's in the stance, and the pitcher is up in his knee lift. Now I want you to pay attention to the pitcher because the next thing he's going to do is drive and stride towards the catcher. All right? Right there he strides. And notice when his front foot hits the ground and he's done attacking the hitter, right there, Miguel Cabrera begins to pick up his front foot. You see that? And there goes the knee lift right there. This is important because this is going to get him in the rhythm of being on the beat of the release point, which is right here. This release point is where everything matters in timing of hitting. What Miguel Cabrera wants to be able to do, and all great hitters want to be able to do, is work their stride forward as the ball's coming out of his hand. So watch. As soon as the ball comes out, you see Cabrera work forward, 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 get his foot down, and there's that good balance, that great base that we looked at earlier, and he's ready to drive this baseball to any field depending on where it's pitched. So let's take a look at how you're syncing up the pitcher really quickly, and then we'll wrap up this video. All right, here we are on the left-hand side. You can see me there pitching behind the L screen. And here's my knee lift, and you're in your stance. And here's me attacking you. Here comes my stride. And my front foot's down right there, right? And I notice that your heel's off the ground. So if we go back to Cabrera, it'll look very similar. Front foot lands. Cabrera begins to lift that heel off the ground. Let's look at that one more time. Right there. But then if we go back to yours on the left-hand side, even though you lift your heel, you wait to lift up your knee. And you don't lift up your knee until right there. And as you can see, I'm really close to my release point. And if we track you forward, now I've let go of the ball and you haven't begun to work forward, you can see your knee's still coming up. Ball's already coming towards you and you have yet to move forward in your stride. And as a result, you have to get your foot down in a hurry because you started so late with your knee lift. Whereas with Cabrera, he begins that knee lift right here with the pitcher. Oh, sorry about that. Let's go back. As soon as the front foot on the pitcher hits the ground, he begins that knee lift, continues it so that right at release point, he can work forward on the stride. Let's go back again and look at you one more time. So again, we're not beginning our knee lift until there, and I'm already letting go of the ball here. Your knee keeps coming up, and now you got to get your foot down in a hurry to get your swing going. And when you got to get your foot down in a hurry, you're not going to be able to get that wide foundation that we talked about. So let's work on getting that knee lift started a little bit earlier. It's going to help you with decision making. It's going to help you drive the ball to all fields. And it's going to help you get a wider foundation in your swing.